Action.
What's up? It's Nikell Ariel. You're watching the Whys to the Why I Do Music. I was born at Crawford Long Hospital, Atlanta, Georgia, back in 1986. My parents, they died of AIDS. My dad, he gave it to my mom. And I grew up in Atlanta, Cleveland Ave. Me and my sister, we grew up in the house where my mom had us. We have a lot of great memories there, but at the same time, a lot of bad memories, because that's when my mom started getting sick at that house, and my sister, she would have to take me to the daycare literally every day until my mom passed. Oh, she done went in. Oh, Chad, you good? Oh, I thought you said that was coming.
I heard the kids.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, but it is what it is. Look, we good. I said it is what it is.
Try to tell them so.
Yeah, they'll be. I'm sure it is.
People, I know it's weird. People, somebody knocking on your door, they look like, who the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
You filming? Oh no.
Oh, he just getting ready. You want to pray?
Oh, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Chasity. I'm Nikell's sister.
Father God, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for our health. Thank you for our strength. God, we thank you for this moment, for this opportunity to come back to where it all started. Our home, where Nikell grew up and where I grew up, and my mother made this place a home and a sanctuary for us. And we just want to say thank you for this moment, and thank you to give us also the strength that we need to make it through this emotional day. We ask for your guidance, your protection, and we know that we have your love, your unconditional love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Nikell and I grew up at 2828 Waters Road. That was our main place of residence. We did live somewhere prior to that, but this is where we basically lived for the longest. There, my mother was working 2 jobs. She was in school, and she finally got her degree as a registered nurse RN. During that time, she became very ill. My mother found out she had brain tumors, which was caused by HIV, which turned into AIDS.
Man, that's crazy. Everything. Did the bus come up here? Or you had to walk me to the bus stop.
No, I had to walk you to the nursery.
Where the nursery at?
It's up the street around the corner.
I wonder, can we?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
We try to walk.
That's a very important part of our life, because that was a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when Mama got sick.
The house, and I mean, just judging by the pictures, because I don't remember a whole lot, it looks like we had a lot of fun. We've had cookouts there. I just remember seeing all the photos, like my mom and my dad and me, and both of my sisters, and yeah.
House used to be red, and they changed it to yellow.
Man,
Yeah.
where that tree at? We had took all those pictures next to. It's gone.
Right
Is it
there?
gone? Nah, it was one of them other trees, because it was wooded.
Oh,
All right in there.
A big tree right there. Right.
Yeah.
We had some great, incredible barbecues. Mom used to be out here on the grill. The grill, she set it right there on the grass. I don't know why she set it on the grass, but she set it on the grass. And Mama used to cut the grass.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get that from. I don't cut grass. I'll pay somebody to cut it.
But during the time we were living in the house, I was 16 in the 10th grade, it was 11th grade, 10th going to 11th, and Nikell was 6. So my mother was very independent, very strong woman, very strong-willed. She was very keeping a clean house was very important. She was very family oriented. I mean, she just taught me so much at a very early age. And at the time, I didn't understand why she was so strict, but it actually molded me to be the person that I needed to be at the time that it needed to happen. And that time was when she became sick and she was basically bedridden because she could not think properly. She wasn't aware of her surroundings anymore. The brain tumors just took over. So because of that, I had to basically take full responsibility of being the parent in the house.
Yeah. What do you remember? I'm curious because I was old.
Nothing.
You don't remember anything?
Honestly, I remember Mama getting sick. I remember Mama being sick. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I always remember she had a chair sitting outside of the kitchen. And then when she hit that chair, because I used to always get in trouble, like, don't be hitting that chair when you walk. You see it, you can move.
That blue chair.
It was a chair sitting right outside of the kitchen.
She played like this.
She didn't play, so when I never forget, when Mama hit that chair when she walked out of the kitchen.
That's when you knew it was real.
I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Yep, I knew something was wrong.
She had brain tumors, and Mom was extremely clean. She was like, she didn't play. Be a crumb on the floor, she'd be like, why is that crumb on the floor?
Oh my God, she was so happy. She was a happy child. She was always laughing and giggling. She was super friendly, even to the point where she was so friendly, it scared us because we think that she would just walk away and go with somebody else. Because, she loved smiling and laughing and playing. And she wasn't a difficult child at all. And she loved to be clingy to me. Like she held my leg through the house like every day. Like she didn't want to let go. She wanted to be right there with me all the time. So, and I like that. I actually named her because we were so inseparable. I called her Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich. You remember that? Peanut butter. And so yeah, she was a sweet girl. She was a sweet child. And every day I would walk my sister to school. Her nursery was about maybe 15 blocks from the house. And I would walk her to school first, and then I would come home, grab my book bag, and then walk maybe a mile to my bus stop, and then I would go to school.
I remember coming to the daycare.
You don't? You don't remember us walking?
Nah, well, yeah, I do, but I don't remember. I remember the daycare a little bit. I remember like certain instances in the daycare.
Okay. Yeah, you was only 6, like 5,
6. Yeah.
You may have started going here when you was 4. I can't really remember.
And every day I would walk my sister to school. Her nursery was about, maybe 15 blocks from the house. And I would walk her to school first, and then I would come home, grab my book bag, and then walk maybe a mile to my bus stop. And then I would go to school. That went on for many, many months. And probably after about 4 months, I could no longer go to school. I had to actually talk to my principal, tell him what was going on, her diagnosis, and I had to stay at home with her because she was so ill and she just could not be alone. And we didn't have any support from our family because at the time, AIDS was not something that people knew a lot about. So my grandmother, her sister, and other relatives were not around to help us. We only pretty much had maybe 2 friends of hers that helped us, and that was it. And they had their own lives, but they did pitch in as much as possible.
Remember the owner being very understanding because I was a minor.
Yeah.
So dropping you off, I think it had some type of legality or something that I had to explain to her. My mom's sick. I'm going to be paying you. I'm going to be dropping her off. They had to. I then became the person that they would need to speak with.
The point of contact.
Yeah, point of contact, right. So, and they were very understanding, and You loved it here. you would get so excited every time we would be skipping up the driveway. You get so excited. You love coming here, so.
I kind of remember it. Not really though.
And they were very flexible. Like sometimes I would be a little late picking you up, and they were flexible. They even offered to bring you home because we were so close. But Mama didn't want that because I asked her. She was like, "Nah, I don't want her getting in nobody else's car." You know, so. Yeah, so we can probably go in here and check it out.
Yeah.
Walking her to the daycare when my mother was ill was a very emotional, what word can I describe? It was a very emotional and kind of a heart-wrenching moment, because when I had to walk her to the daycare, it wasn't me just walking her to the daycare. That was the reality of my mother not being able to drive anymore, my mother not being able to guide us and protect us and be the person that she was. All had just fell apart, because my mother, to know her is to know how she was about us. She didn't like us without her, and anytime that she didn't know what we were doing, or anytime that we were separated from her, she felt like we could possibly be in danger. So for me to have to be in a situation where I had to be separated from her and take on that responsibility at that age and walk my sister to the nursery, it was sad for me, because it was like, okay, my mother's here, but she's not here. And now I've got to take over, and I've got to do the best that I can. But I just had to make sure that things continued to flow, because I didn't want Nikell to be affected.
At my grandma's house, like, I just remember sometimes I went there for the summertime just to kind of just play with my cousins and be around my family. My grandma, she was always loving and accepting. She was funny, man. She would joke about everything. She recently just passed, and that was, I don't know, that was rough, but just had a lot of fun there. My grandfather, we used to sit outside, eat watermelon, just and embrace nature.
I can't believe, that was just, I can't believe the grass grew back.
It was just gravel.
Right. Straight dirt.
It was. I remember, yep, the swing right in there. It looked like they got some storage situation happening, but dang. I want to go in. I'm sure it looked crazy in there.
It's probably not.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Look, you probably don't even want to go.
I'm in there living.
Yeah. You don't even want to go through.
I think of the word Hollingsworth or Hollingsworth Road. That brings back a lot of good and bad memories. Good in a sense where Nikell's grandmother stayed on Hollingsworth Road, and that would be where we would spend the holidays, and she would show us so much love, like we were a part of the family. This was Nikell's father's mother. On the flip side of that, the negative part is that the rest of the family wasn't as inviting or as nice to us. So I enjoyed going there because she was a great cook. She made us feel at home, and it was something that I look forward to a certain degree, but at the same time, it was one of them things like, oh, we're gonna have to be around people that really don't like us.
Shoot, this is where I learned how to sew, how to make all kind of stuff. Grandma, grandma could do anything. I'll never forget that. I remember they had the dog, Alf, all that. But it was a lot of memories over here though, with the cousins, all that. What Hollingsworth Road means to me, it's my family. That's my family name. That's my dad. That's my aunts, my uncles. You know what I mean? We don't had any land, and that hurt because it's like my family would lie straight to my face. Because at the end of the day, my grandma had been telling me since I was 5, 6 years old that I've always had a piece of the land. Since my dad had died, it had moved down to my sister, and it should have been my sister, my dad's daughter, my sister, and my brother, and me. But for some reason, it got switched just to one sister, and that one sister ended up selling it to my aunt. So that's how all that kind of just transpired. But it hurt. It's just like, it made me just realize that family really is just people that your blood related to. That doesn't mean that they'll truly look out for you and make sure that you're good.
Speak on how you pronounce it,
Hollinsworth?
Yeah, Hollinsworth, sorry. Speak on Hollinsworth and the side of the land for me. You can speak on that, like Hollinsworth.
My dad's, when he was alive, I remember him being in that room. Yep, that's crazy. I wonder what. Shoot, I wish I could go in, but I don't want to. I think. But yeah, that's where we used to be at. All the kids, all the grandkids. That's where we used to be at. We would walk down the street, walk up the street. It's the family. I mean, all this pretty much family land. My family owns a lot of land. I guess they got it. My uncle would correct me if I'm wrong, because he makes sure he keeps up with the whole lineage. But basically, they got the land, I believe, from like the slave owners. So it's a lot of land, and it got divvied up between all the family. A lot of the family, not all of it, but we do have a portion of it as far as like my uncles and my aunts and different things like that. And of course, if someone dies, it gets passed on to the heirs. So, but that didn't happen in my case. But again, it's not even really, it's not about the land itself, it's just the action.
So she is definitely entitled to that land, and unfortunately, that has been the problem. Her family, aside from her grandmother was not a part of this, but her aunts and uncles, they made it known that they really never, I'm not going to say they didn't accept her as a part of the family, but they just was not fair in how they treated her in certain things. And they've taken her land. They have, because she's a Hollinsworth. Her father was a Hollinsworth, and that is her land, you know. And her grandma.
Visit to the grave site. I mean, my grandma meant a lot to me. Although I felt like during COVID, I really couldn't see her that much, just due to, you know, her health and all that. So the past 2 years, I really only got to see her maybe once or twice in person, and then via Zoom. But just seeing my dad's gravesite, it did a little bit, because, you know, I love my dad regardless, you know what I mean. That's one of the reasons why I am between my mom and my dad. But I also feel some type of way sometimes too, because it's I feel like he kind of took my mom away from my sister, you know what I mean. Granted, I'm here, but at the same time, it's dang, they both died of AIDS, and my mom was HIV positive when she had me. And growing up, I didn't know this piece of information until I was 21 when I found out they died of AIDS. So it's made everything make sense when I was a kid, because I used to go to the doctor every few months or maybe every year, and they used to prick my finger, but I never knew why. So once my sister told me, it was when I was leaving Georgia State and I was I was leaving West Georgia and I was transferring to Georgia State, and I guess they had to have some kind of documentation, and at that point I guess they still put the reasons why, you know, people died on it at that moment, when I guess on the death certificate. So she knew I would find out, so she eventually told me, and man, that was an emotional point for me. She doesn't even know that. My granddad died in 2007. Grandma just died the 18th of June of this year. And then when did my dad die? 90. Yeah. 1996. So did he die when I was 4? I don't think so. They got that wrong. Something ain't right.
Well, it all unfortunately unfolded and began at my Auntie Vicky's house. My Auntie Vicky is my mother's only sister. They were extremely close, and the one thing that separated them was the fact that my mother was made aware that her husband, whom just happened to be a Caucasian, was molesting her daughters. And my aunt chose to have a blind eye to that. And when my mother found out about it, she was very upset. She was livid, she was hurt, and she gave my aunt an ultimatum. She basically told her, hey, if you don't leave this man, then I'm gonna have nothing else to do with you, because you are allowing my nieces to be in this situation. And my aunt chose her husband. She was in denial. And so for that reason, my mother has always made it known that if anything ever happened to her, that she did not want us to stay with my aunt. So fast forward, my mother ended up dying, and my mother had a will, and we were supposed to stay with my grandfather, but that didn't go well, and we ended up staying with my aunt.
Man.
You all right?
Yeah. They filming. It's going to just get it over with. Y'all ready?
Scary movie.
Look past what happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just to help somebody else. That's what the goal.
Right.
So I'm literally standing in the house that I moved into after our granddaddy kicked us out.
Yeah.
That's
It's not somewhere we wanted to come.
We were probably there for maybe 4 to 5, 6 months. I don't know. I can't remember the exact timeline. But during that time, it was very uncomfortable. Nothing had happened up until this one day. We were there, but we were quite uncomfortable. It was just a very weird situation. We were in one room together, you know, and we were still suffering from the passing of my mom, so it was a lot going on. But one day, while my aunt was at work and he was left at the home with us, he came and knocked on my door, and I opened the door. And my sister wasn't in my room at the time. I don't know where she was. She could have been in the bathroom or downstairs or something. But when he came in my room, he approached me, and he had his pants unzipped with his penis in his hand. And he waved it, and he said, "I know you want it." And I was like, "What?" And I slammed the door, and I told him to get out. And I immediately called my aunt. And my aunt was like, "What's going on?" I said, "I need to talk to you," because I didn't even want to tell her what happened over the phone, because it was just so tragic. Like, I didn't want her to, I'm thinking that she's gonna be upset. So I'm like, okay, just come home. I need to talk to you. So she came home. I told her what happened. She probably, after we had the discussion and I told her what happened, she left me in the room. She was like, "Stay right here. Let me go talk to him," which is her husband. And she was gone for about 30 minutes. She came back, and the interesting part of it all for me was I never saw her angry. It seemed like when I told her, it didn't like have any effect on her, which was weird to me, because I was like upset, I was crying, and she was just like, "Oh, okay, all right." And I'm like, So she came back, and about 30 minutes later, and she said, "Okay, I had a discussion with Perry," which is her husband, which was her husband at the time. And she said, "I told him what you said, and he said that he doesn't remember." And I'm like, "He doesn't remember what? He doesn't remember what he did?" She was like, "No, he said he don't remember doing what you say he did. He had a couple of beers and he just don't remember. And she was so nonchalant, and even at 16, I was very outspoken and I could read people well, and I knew at that point, I was like, this is a lost cause, because for her to come in here and just say something like that to me, I just knew that, okay, eventually I'm gonna have to leave, or I gotta leave now.
Yeah.
We'll go into detail about that later, but
Yeah.
This is where we ended up.
And y'all stayed here for how long?
I stayed here for, how long we stayed here?
Shoot, you was probably only here for like what? Months.
Maybe a year.
A year.
A year?
And then-
Maybe anywhere from 8 to 12 months. I don't know. It was very short because something happened.
Okay.
And then unfortunately she stayed here for how long? You were 7.
Like 5 to 6 more years. I used to walk home every day here by myself. Come home and be molested.
5 more years. I'm sorry.
Fine. Take your time.
And I don't remember what I said verbatim, but I do remember this, and I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. She looked at me in my eyes and she said, Chasity. And this was the furthest thing from my mind that I thought she was going to say. I thought she was going to say something sympathetic or something that was going to help me, you know. But she said, Chasity? I said, yes. She said, let me tell you something. She said, I am not going to lose my home, my lifestyle, and my marriage for your accusations. And I was like, what? I was so hurt. I was devastated. I had recently lost my mom. I think it was, like I said, I think it was only like 3 to 4 months, maybe less. And my first reaction was, I gotta get me and my sister the fuck up out of here. And we snuck out of the house, and I probably got maybe a mile away from the house, and then all of a sudden the sheriff or police officer pulls up beside me as we're walking, and I'm like, oh boy. And then he says, excuse me, is your name Chasity? And I'm like, yes. He was like, okay, your aunt just made a call and she said that you kidnapped your sister. And I just started crying because that was not true. I was actually running away from a situation that was going to harm us. And so I told the police officer what happened, and he understood, and he said, you know what you can do is file an indecent exposure to a minor case against him, and we can have him locked up if what you're saying is true. And I'm like, yes, what I am telling you is absolutely true. And I even told him about, you know, the fact that this same husband that she was with had molested 2 of my cousins, which was her daughters. And so he helped me get, you know, the necessary paperwork done and filed, and her husband got locked up the very next day. And she got him out. She put the house up, and he was released from jail. And at that point, because I pressed charges on him, she asked me to leave her house. And so I had to leave, but I could not take my sister with me. And I was so sad, I was so broken, I was so hurt, I was devastated. And the reason I couldn't take her was because I was a minor. And at that time, my aunt was the guardian of both of us, and she was getting a check. She was getting 2 nice-sized checks, actually. I think she was getting about $1,200 a piece from me and my sister. And I feel like, to be honest with you, that was the motivation of us living with her, because she knew my mother didn't want us to stay there, and she knew that we did not want to stay there. But this house is blessed.
Correct.
In the name of Jesus.
That's
Y'all
right.
have a wonderful home here. Are you still on here? Thank you.
Thank you. Man, it's crazy.
Similar. She had a table right here too, didn't she?
Computer was right there.
Okay.
The couch was right there. They had the phone was over there. I used to call you.
Oh, really?
Tree. Every Christmas, all our clothes be sitting down.
Yeah, she sit them on the couch. Right there.
Yep. Man, I remember, you know, we had Scooby, you know, the dog, it's a Cocker Spaniel. He used to be running like crazy through here.
This is where all the glasses used to be lined up that we had to look at and be thirsty the whole time.
Yep.
After we eat. How you doing?
I'm so. But this is.
We never went in there, did we?
Yeah, we did. And she had stuff in there.
Time was in here. That was like for holidays.
That was like, you know, the sitting, like the nice room you had. But yeah, look, there was a reason that burn was from here. When I was trying to get some rolls out the oven.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
That's crazy. I remember my birthday parties. I remember Scooby used to be running all around.
Yeah.
I remember getting switches out the back to get a whooping. I remember, man, it's a lot of.
Everything the same too. The cabinets,
Everything in here the same.
the floors.
Everything. Yep. Man, it's crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You take care of yourself. You too.
So I can't even like recall like first times of like certain things, but it was cool. Like I remember like playing with my cousins, everything was all good until like her husband like tried to like touch me. Like I remember like I came home from school one day, and then my cousins, they're older than me, so you know I got out of school way before them. So I go home like to the point, like, so this, think about this. Imagine staying somewhere as a child. They didn't want to tell you your address. They didn't want to tell you your address. They didn't want to tell me my phone number. Like, everything was a secret, and it was kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you can't know the phone number. You know, can't really know the address. So that was already weird. Then I come home, you know, to like somebody like the dude, her husband, like washing my underwear. And you know, it was just weird, cause I was like one of those kids, like my mom was like real like by the book. So I come home, you know what I'm saying, I eat my Oreos, I do my homework, you know what I'm saying, so I continued that even after, you know what I mean, like my mom had died, so he added an extra step in there, you know, cause he would try to touch on me when I got home from school. And it's just like, it was real confusing. Like as a child, to like have to experience that day after day of somebody like coming in your room, like trying to touch you in your sleep, you know? I ain't feel protected. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't feel protected. You know, and it made me like have another layer of a heart exterior, you know what I mean? Like, that's when, you know, kind of became a tomboy, because it's like, that's all I knew, that I had to do, protect myself, you know? And it was rough being in that house, man, because she treated us crazy. She'll wake us up, and I'm not mad at her for this, because I understand it now. She'll wake us up about 4 o'clock in the morning before school, you know, to fold clothes, or sometimes she'll wake her kids up and feed them first, and then feed me last, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just got treated different, but I still had such a love for my aunt, and because of who I was as a kid, because I understood, like, hey, it's always somebody going through something worse, you know what I'm saying? And I rationalized that as a child, you know what I'm saying, and what I was going through in that household, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the reason why I started writing, because I was going through so much that I couldn't necessarily express to other people. But writing, and like I used to read a lot too, and that's what kind of like kept me sane in that situation.
She basically put the house up, got him out of jail the following next day, and from that day forward, I didn't see my sister for how many years? I used to drive by her school and wave at her when she came out, I would get off work early. I knew when the when her bell rung to end the day, her elementary school was around the corner, and I would park outside of the school and I would just watch her.
Like, even like my cousins, I remember like when my cousin Anisha, like she was getting molested too, you know what I mean? Like, and it was hurtful to hear. Like, imagine like you hear somebody going in their room and then you hear like some bullshit going on in the room. And I'm just under the covers, man. Just like, God, like, what's going on? Scary, man. And my sister wasn't there. It was just me. So, like I said again, like, that's why I started writing, because I ain't had no outlet. And I ain't really know what to do. Like, I didn't let it affect my grades in school. Like, I still did great in school. Like I said, like, something in me was always just like, Nikell, if somebody going through worse, you good, you can do this. And I just kept going. Even though they treated me differently, going on vacations without me, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, all right. Because at that point, I felt different at my auntie's house. I felt different with my family. You know what I mean? Like, I was just different. Everybody just treated me different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And we're going to have to pause. Let me get my face together.
I was relentless in trying to get my sister out of the house. I filed a claim with DFACS. I filed numerous complaints with the police station. I had DFACS come in and do an interview to see if my sister was being harmed, or if she was unhappy, or if she was being threatened. And of course, my aunt had already gotten to her, so she was scared to death. And the report came back and said, you know, we feel like she's in a good home. I cried, I prayed. I mean, I was devastated. And I even would visit the house once a week and knock on the door, and I'd be like, please let me see my sister. And my aunt would not even let me see my sister, because she knew if I had got with my sister, even for 5 minutes, I would have convinced her to tell the truth. And she didn't want me to get in my sister's head. She wanted to continue to threaten her and manipulate her. And so she would not let me see her. I would even go to my sister's school and watch her walk out the front door and get on the bus, because that's how much I missed her. That's how much I wanted to be a part of her life. And so, you know, years passed, and I continued to try to get custody of her. And I ended up getting legal aid, and I was able to get a lawyer who really helped me and, you know, did everything that a law firm, they did everything that they possibly could, and I was able to get custody of my sister. It took about 5.5 years later, but I was able to get custody of her. I believe I was like 20 and 21 when I finally got custody of her.
How I lost my sense of security, like, you know, as a child, you know, think about, you got authority, you know, people that authoritative, I'm not even saying I'm saying it correctly, and you know, you want to feel secure as a child. Like, it's like all the people that was adults failed me. My aunt, her husband, my grandfather, the people that was supposed to protect me, they was hurting me. So I had to make sure I was good for myself. And it came out as me being a tomboy, because that's what I knew. It made me feel like, all right, I'm okay. You know what I mean? So as a child and as a young lady, like, security is everything. And that's something I lost early on.
Speaking about your sister, say me.
Man, that was a crazy day. I'll never forget it. My cousin Anisha, she wrote a letter and she left. Like, I don't even know what the letter said, but I just know, like, at that point she ran away because she was getting molested too. So when she ran away, I felt comfortable then, like talking to my sister and letting her know what was going on. And from that day forward, I never went back. And you know, I was glad, but it was hurtful because when I left, like my aunt, she put all my stuff on the driveway, her driveway, you know, and that was hurtful for like just you know, I'm like 11, 12 years old, like dang, like my aunt just kicked me out, like the person that I love so much, even though I didn't know, you know what I mean, like that she knew I was getting molested, like I didn't know that, but that hurt. That changed my whole perspective of her, you know what I mean, like it made me like family ain't shit. That's how I felt. And I still feel like that, like my sister, like I don't care what we go through, I'm be there hurt regardless, period. She saved me from that crazy situation, you know what I'm saying, getting molested almost all the time, every night, you know what I mean, somebody pulling their penis out, like, and introducing me to sex at a early age, and it wasn't like he was having sex with me or nothing like that, you know what I mean, but it was still, you know, touching and kissing down there, you know what I'm saying, like it was a lot for me to take home.
Like, do you think that had an effect on your sexuality?
Of course. You know what I mean? It made me not like trust men. I mean, it had a major effect on my sexuality. You know what I mean? That's why I don't identify as being gay. And it's one of those things because I believe that you speak things over your life. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, life go in seasons and things change. You're presented with different situations and, you know what I mean? I don't identify as gay, but I am attracted to women because of what I've been through. You know what I mean? And it's tough. You know, it's like growing up, sometimes I felt like my sexuality was like a focal point, but it was all because of what I've been through. And sometimes I felt like, even like my sister didn't understand like how that like really affected me. Cause in a perfect world, like I wouldn't like choose to like women, you know? Nah. It's just the way it happened, and I had to protect myself, and that's kind of how things went. But because I didn't identify as being gay, and I never let anybody speak that over my life, because I knew the importance of the word, like, so even at my aunt's house, like I used to sit under my bed and poke holes under the it had, I don't know, it was this little thing. I just sit there and poke holes and cry, you know. It's like I already don't have my mom, my dad. Then as I got older, my sexuality was affected by this stuff, and it's like then my sexuality affected by it. And I got people around me telling me being gay wrong, this wrong, you know. It's tough. It's a tough spot to be in, you know. And I always believed in God. Like that was the reason I made it through. You know what I mean? In that house, like God, like I talk to God every day. You know what I mean? Like even still now I do. Like I just hate that happened to me to affect me in that way, and to where people around me didn't understand.
That she was here, she was molested. And I tried to keep that from happening, but I didn't. And I felt like a failure because I felt like it was my fault. Yeah.
I started writing after my mom died. It was like I was just sitting in my aunt's house, you know, and
I wrote this poem, like I remember it like the back of my hand because it was simple. It's Mom and Dad, I love you so. I feel your hand everywhere I go. I know you're not in space or any other place, but best of all, I have you all. And I was referring to my aunt at the time because I was just happy that somebody took us, I understand, like, as I got older, my granddad and his decisions, but at that moment in time, like, I love my aunt. You know what I mean? She couldn't really do no wrong.
I was working 2 jobs because I wanted to make sure that I was prepared for her, because I knew that she was eventually going to come live with me. And then that's when shortly after living there, I think we lived there for like a year. And then I moved to Fieldstone View, which is where we went today. And going there was very emotional because that's where I was able to create the first home for her. It was very important to me that I create a space where she felt safe. I create a loving home that was furnished properly, that was where she had her own room, her own space, in a nice neighborhood, in a nice school district. All of these things I checked off before I even, made a decision on where we're gonna stay. Because we at the time where we initially stayed was in Decatur, but in my research I found that Rockdale had one of the best school systems, and it was a sacrifice because it took me an hour and 30 minutes every day to get to work, but I felt like that was the sacrifice I had to make for my sister.
Yeah, I remember it though. I remember being here. It took you forever to get to work, to come home from work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
I remember that. It had a fireplace?
Yeah, that's the fireplace right there. And then
what's the front? Was mine right here?
Front.
Right here. Mm-hmm.
And then we had the sunroom in the middle,
and yours was in the back.
The living room right here, and my room was in the back.
And the kitchen was in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dang.
Our first official home, but our second home together, because our first home together was my 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Yep. Then we relocated over here.
Relocated here because I wanted to get you in a good school system. Take you out of Decatur, where it's greater.
Yeah, because I ain't even go to school out there.
Yeah, I brought you to Conyers because they had a good school system.
And I was already down here.
Mm-hmm.
At what, Memorial?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had my best friend is a chick named Kiasha. And we was cool. Like, even once me and my sis moved from that neighborhood, we was good. But once I told her, that I was attracted to women, she really wasn't messing with me no more. And it was what it was. It wasn't like I was attracted to her. Not even that. We were friends, you know what I mean? So it had nothing to do with anything. So that hurt, And I just gravitated, I don't know, my sexuality, like I said, my sexuality is a big portion, focal point of my life. I feel like sometimes it affected my sister and I's relationship. I know that she didn't understand it. Heck, I'm really just now getting to a place where I understand me, So, it's just but the thing about it is, to me, your sexuality does not define you. You know what I mean? So people go around, I'm gay, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, but why? Why do you have to say that? You know what I mean? And it's not that it's necessarily, I'm not going to say I don't think it's a bad thing, because I believe in God. I do believe in the word, but I also believe that God made us, and he knows what we're going to go through. He knows what we're going to do. He knows the decision that we're going to make. And I don't judge nobody, because I don't really know what they've been through. I'll never tell nobody, oh, you going to hell because you gay, because at the end of the day, you can go to hell for a lot of reasons, you know what I'm saying, other than just being gay. It's all sins are on the same level, so I don't look at it in that light. But what I do think is that
boxes that we put ourselves in sometimes can box us in. You know what I mean? Like if I let people call me gay and I believed I was gay, my daughter wouldn't be here now. You know, and that's real. Even when I was talking to women, I used to really like this dude, which is my child's father. I used to tell the chicks like, I'm talking to you, but this is guy I really like. And we probably won't last that long because I really love him. I really like him. You know, and that's just what it was. It was just one dude I like. Even now, it's not that I'm not attracted to men, but it takes a lot. You know what I mean? It just takes a lot for me too.
So my mother had a will before she died because, as I said before, she did not want us to live with my aunt under no circumstances. So she made it her business to put in writing that she wanted us to stay with my grandfather, which is her father. And he agreed. He was like, it's no problem. My grandfather was very wealthy. He owned a funeral home, several properties, liquor stores, and he had some other businesses. So he had a funeral home and he had just built a home of his own, and he had plenty of room for us to stay. So he said, okay, no problem. They can come stay with me. And I've always been the type of person, even at that age, because of the way my mother raised me, I don't like to be a burden. So I made it clear, because at the time he was married, and I told his wife, I said, you know, I really appreciate you all letting us stay here. You don't have to worry about doing nothing for us. I'll bathe my sister. I'll do her hair. I'll go grocery shopping. I'll cook. I'll clean. Whatever you need me to do, it'll be almost like we're not here. I just need to be here for like a year. Let me graduate from high school, and then I'm gonna get a job, and then we're gone. And she was like, no, you're fine. You know, we want you to be here. You know, you're in good hands. And it was all good for probably about maybe 6 months or less. I really don't know. I can't remember the timeline. I'll have to ask Nikell. But all of a sudden, one day, my grandfather was a coward. So he sent a messenger, which was his wife, to sit me down and talk to me. And she basically said, you can no longer stay here. And it broke my heart, because she and I had built a relationship and a rapport that I thought was close. You know, we were cooking, she was teaching me things, she made me feel comfortable. To be honest with you, my grandfather was not there probably 80% of the time. He was running his businesses in the street, being a hoe, doing all kind of stuff. Who knows? And it was evident to me that they were having problems in their marriage, because I would hear arguments, I would see things, but of course it was none of my business. I just was happy to have somewhere to stay, and I had a plan. But she came to me and she said, you can no longer stay here. And I was like, why? She said, well, to be honest with you, you know, your grandfather feels like, you know, you all need to go stay with your aunt. And I said, well, we don't want to stay with my aunt. And you know why we don't want to stay there? Because her husband molested my cousins, and you know what he did to me, and I don't want, you know, anything to happen to my sister. I was like, please, you know, I was crying. I was like, please, 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 you know, please let us stay here. Please don't make us leave. You know, I'll do whatever you want me to do. You don't have to do nothing. I know how to do everything. I promise. You don't have to do anything. Oh boy, she looked at me so cold. I never seen this look in her eyes before. And she said, Chasity, I'm gonna be honest with you, baby. She said, I've raised my children, and I don't have time to raise you and your sister, because your grandfather's not here. And like I said, I heard the arguments. I knew that they were having some problems, and I think she was just like, she didn't care, you know. And that decision affected our whole lives.
all good. Man. Oh, this song? Hold on. You heard something? Who is that?
Hi.
Is Margie here? She here? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, Margie.
Who are you?
You know who we are.
You don't know who this is? You don't know who this is? Man,
Sorry, you know what? I left my mask in the car.
I'm sorry.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
How you doing?
What? I be talking.
How you doing?
You sit down.
You can film if you
the
want.
second one.
Huh?
I know you. That's my granddaughter.
You don't know who I am?
Hi. Are you her caretaker?
No. I'm Bobby Cuz.
Oh, okay. All right. What's your name?
Now wait a minute.
I'm.
No, I'm asking you. You don't film me that. I asked you.
Oh, okay. We won't film you.
Yeah. Come here.
No, he not. He got it down.
Stuff like that. Go ahead.
So we stopped recording at my dad's, well, now my granddad's wife's home or whatever. Seeing her, like, that's not my biological grandmother, but she is someone who my grandfather married. I mean, it was rough, you know, because she still doesn't believe that she played a part in us leaving that household, you know. And it's like, I feel like my sister had developed a relationship with her, and that hurt my sister more so than anything, because it's like they were building and doing stuff together, and then for her not to have our back, like, that did something to my sister. I know it did.
Wow. You know, unfortunately, because of what my sister has been through, and I honestly don't know the details because she's never discussed those with me. I tried to get her counseling over the years, but she never talked about it, and I completely understood, because I'm sure it's very painful beyond my comprehension because of what happened to her. But I know that it changed her as a person. I know that she has a lot of hurt and a lot of pain inside of her. I think it changed her. It took a lot of her joy. She was a very happy, joyous baby, child, always been very creative. You know, thank God she kept her creativeness. She's always been talented. She's always been just a good person. But I feel like because of that tragedy, that trauma, oh my God, I can't even begin to feel any of those emotions that she has dealt with over the years. It's devastating. And, you know, we are products of our environment, unfortunately. And I have to be honest, I don't know if I've even told her this, but for many years, I fought myself. I felt like I didn't. I felt like I failed her. But I tried.
I felt like I could have saved her from that. And I was angry with her a little bit because I told her. And I know she was a child, so. But I said, baby, I just need you to tell the truth. Because that's the only way I'm gonna be able to get you out of this house. And my auntie had her so scared that she didn't tell the truth. And at that point, my hands were tied and it was nothing I could do. And I hate that all of this happened, you know. For a long time, I questioned God. I was upset with God, and by the grace of God, I got past that, and I found Him to be my strength. But I had a lot of unanswered questions because I didn't understand why this had to happen to us, why it had to happen to her.
Man, my sister, I mean, we could cuss each other out. I could have a black eye and she can call me the next day and I'll still be there for her. Like, I don't care what happens. That's my dog. Like, she came back for me. She kept her word. She kept her promise to my mom. Like, when my sister told me this, like, my mom was like dying, like almost about to die. Like, I was the only person that my mom remembered. And she told my sis, she was like, I don't know who you are, but please take care of my baby. And my sister, she took it to heart. Even now, she still try to be like my mom, and I know it's hard for her to separate it, but I appreciate her just looking out and being who she is. Like, she means a lot to me, the world. Between her and my daughter, like, those are my two favorite people in my world.
Being alone, wishing you was home, drowning in my tears, knowing I'm alone. Never had the chance, know you in advance. Memories from Chas, only from a past. Too young to recognize why you had to die. No more hugs and kisses.
Scary movie. Solo and I, that was a time where I believe he was doing Ayala Fix My Life. Him and Nephi were going through some things, and I believe he revealed that he had went through some child molestation. Him and I were very close, so we decided to come up with a song. And I told him, I'm like, any song that I do, especially just coming out, like, I gotta be able to tell my story, because it's important. Because I know it's somebody out there going through it. With a kid, same thing, and it feels like it's hopeless. So I always just wanted to shed light on that. Him and I, we wrote that verse together. I mean, honestly, that one verse sums up like a lot of my life, my childhood. It's very personal to me. That song, I listen to it every now and again, and it's still something very personal to me because of what we're talking about. You know what I mean? The things that we exemplified in the video, the emotion behind it, bringing in my best friend Tiffany, bringing in my boy Dan. You know, they really, even Joseph, he played the gentleman who molested me at the time, and my daughter, she played me. You know, that video, hands down, is still one of my favorites, just from an emotional standpoint.
Guess it's just my life. God will make it right. He'll free me from this terror. Scary movie. I was alone, you wasn't home, mommy and dad. The pain I feel was much too real. It's in the past. God held my hand all the way. Pain in my heart, scary movie. Scary movie. Pain in my heart, scary movie.
My My name is Tiffany. Nikell is my best friend, and I met her in college. And it's funny because I was actually going through something crazy at the time, and I was like shouting at God, like, what? And I prayed for a friend who could kind of get it, and I met her a couple of days later. And that's how we met, and that's why we are friends. God sent her to me, and I feel like he sent me to her. And we've been on the same journey ever since. We've kind of gone through similar things. She just understood where I was coming from. And it was just easy to talk to her. And I was going through some things, and I said, God, I don't want to do this alone, because I knew God had given me an assignment and some things to do in the world. And I said, hey, that's cool and all. I get what you're saying, but I don't want to go alone. And then I met her a few days later.
Only God can judge me. Judge me. Only God can judge me. Judge me. Only God can judge me.
I don't want people to see me in the end, and as far as my growth. So basically for me, like, why I even wanted to do this video, because I wanted people to know, like, not even people, kids, because that's my passion. I wanted kids to know, like, don't let what you go through define you, and don't let these labels out here in the world define you. Because at the end of the day, you know, like I said, if I spoke over my life I was gay, or if I identified as in today's world as transgender, I might have never physically had my own child, you know what I mean, and been married and had these different experiences if I went just solely by these boxes that people tried to put me in. I want somebody to be able to pull up some online that's their parents don't understand that they gay, or they somebody being treated or mistreated differently. I want them to pull this up and be like, hey, I don't have to be defined by this, or I can get through it, because sometimes there's certain things that I go through I wish I could find somebody in process. You know what I'm saying? Not which you already at the glory, you holier than thou, you know what I mean? Like, it's just giving a real, like, just the real thing. And right now, I'm not dating anyone. I'll never say that I'm gay, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm open, you know what I'm saying, to what God has for me. Not what I necessarily want, because a lot of times what I want may not be the best thing for me, and I recognize that. So my biggest thing is for the kids or any adults. I mean, there's adults who don't know who their identity, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like I said, people find their identity in these boxes, and that's not where it lies, you know what I mean? For my identity, I won't speak for everybody, but my identity lies in Christ. So that's it. That's where I prefer somebody say. But, you know, but just being able to be that go-to person if somebody needs somebody in process of their sexuality or losing their parents or just feeling different. You know what I mean? Because I felt different, treated different. Then I grew up. Then I'm in a more, I'm in a different lifestyle per se. You know what I'm saying? So, then just know that where you are doesn't define you, and then God's love for you doesn't change no matter where you are. You know, I don't care if you smoking 10 crack pipes. You know, God love you. I mean, that's real. His love is no different from the person that's on track and doing everything that he want to do. God love us all. You know, so you know, I've seen a lot of like people I know that so-called gay, you know, stray away from God. You know, and honestly, the lifestyle honestly brought me closer to God, because I was able to ask God these questions. Well, what's wrong? Or with this? Or what's that? And he's always showed me. You know what I mean? Like, even to the point where I met my best friend, Tiffany. And it's like, I thank God for her, because we in this thing together, you know? And it's like, she probably the most spiritual person I know, to be honest. And I don't know. It's just being this way and feeling different, it brought me to God. It brought me to him to show me all these different things. And that's where I'm at.
Fear scared being alone, wishing you was home, drowning in my tears, knowing I'm alone. Never had the chance, know you in advance. Memories from Chaz, only from a past. Too young to recognize why you had to die. No more hugs and kisses, birthdays I'ma miss you. Christmas just tradition, parents slide is missing. Mommy's out the kitchen, why is daddy missing? Granddaddy's in position, his wife ain't in the giving. Responsibilities, not knowing where we living. Financial gain from Vicky, Vicky took us in. But Vicky had a man that couldn't control his hands. 7 years of horror, I was still a baby. I still don't understand, I still don't understand. I guess it's just my life, God'll make it right. He'll free me from this terror. Scary movie. I was alone, you wasn't home, mommy and dad. The pain I feel was much too real, it's in the past. God held my hand all the way. Pain in my heart, scary movie. Scary movie. Pain in my heart, scary movie. Scary movie. Pain in my heart, scary movie.
I was just a youngin', didn't know no better. Nappy-headed jit, mommy wanted better. Better was the streets, no one's young forever. Alcohol addicted, can it last forever? Watch my sister cry, helpless and afraid. Shadows from the past, I was too young to say. Physical abuse, wanna take a noose, tie it to my neck. Death